Let's see if I can, oh, rotate device back. Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but it's a user issue right now. So for the 5 people that were on the last live, so sorry, my phone glitched and I thought that I set it as private and I'm like, well, what's the point? So now you're seeing us up and down in this mode, and I apologize, it won't let me turn the phone so it fills your screen. Your screen. So if you're here, you read the title, hopefully, and it says, oh, hi Jenna, Adam went back to prison today, but it's not what you're thinking because he's sitting right next to me. But he did go back to prison today, federal prison, believe it or not. But thank God he went in and they let him out the front door. So why did you go to prison today?
So today was an opportunity to fulfill one of those big goals that I had while I was inside. Part of our vision was to be able to go back into the Federal Bureau of Prisons, be able to share my story and, you know, speak about not just the challenges, but the successes that we've had. You know, it was something that I always envisioned. It was part of what kept me so inspired. You know, even in those tough times when, you know, we were working towards my eventual release, you know, was that thought of, man, in the future, being able to come back in here, imagine what I was wearing, you know, the things that I would say, how I would be received by both, you know, the residents and the staff. So today was incredible. You know, we got up way early, before the sun was up, so that we could drive the additional 3 hours out here to Thompson, Illinois. USP Thompson, notorious federal prison, been all over the news. Congress, you know, has been very interested because it was just so bad. So many people died there. It was horrible. Well, they've recently gone through a major transition. They've made it technically a low, but listen, it's still a United States penitentiary, just with low custody individuals who are behind the fence, behind the wall. Like, it's a lot. Ro asked me, how'd you feel going in through the front door?
Okay, let me say something really quick. I have not asked him any questions or anything about this. So Adam's like, why don't we just do it with our fam live and you could ask me the questions like live so everybody knows the answers, right? And I'm sorry for everyone that like, you scared the shit out of us, and then somebody just said, you're the best. Bro, you would not be this calm if Adam really went back to prison today. I did not want to clickbait you guys. That's why I was like, it's not what you're thinking whatsoever. So anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, keep going. I'm gonna interrupt and ask questions.
So the first question you asked me was, how was it? How'd you feel going back inside?
Yeah, because I was so nervous. Like, I know that, not so nervous, I'm so dramatic with my words, but like, Adam did not have any PTSD when he came out of prison whatsoever. He had a little bit of this second time. Yeah, his first time he did it. We could talk about that if you guys want. We could do another video. We could talk about it now. But he's been in jail since he's worked in the jail where he goes in. He has a unit that he helped create as like a re-entry unit, right? So he goes in every week. He helps me
it's the county jail. It's a little bit different.
It's the county jail.
It's not. I've done the state facilities.
That's what I was wondering, because I knew he had gone into jail. I didn't know if he had gone back into prison, but regardless, he has not been back in federal prison. And I remember when I asked Sean, his attorney who did time, I was like, how was it going back to federal prison? And he's like, you know, like when he first went in, the sound of the like the gates shutting, right, or opening. It's a specific sound.
Well, let me tell you this, because I'll tell you the sound that I heard today.
Wait, yes, go. I should shut up.
While I was speaking at the pen first, we're in the visiting room, and I kind of, was trying to get a gauge on how much time. I don't have my watch. I don't have my phone. And there's no clocks up on the wall anywhere, right? So I'm trying to figure out the time, and they had told me, listen, everyone that's coming in, they're gonna go over to eat lunch last. So we're gonna wait and call them last. And when I heard the radios, like I looked over to staff, I was like, Was that them calling us for lunch, for chow? I said, was that calling us for chow?
Wait, like you reverted back for a sec?
No, just because I'm still like, for so many years.
Of course, it's 20 years of your life.
I'm hearing the radios.
Yeah.
Right, like I'm tuned in when I hear the beep beep, the chirp. I'm like, oh, they're calling over here. They must be calling for chow.
Wow.
So I was like, do I need to wrap up? And they're like, no, you got a few more minutes. And I was like, oh.
I thought for a second you meant like you just autopilot went back inside and you were like, oh, it's chow time, I gotta go eat. Like you were but like
no.
But oh my gosh, we just got $2 from the landlord harassment channel. He's adamant about helping people. It's Josh from Iowa. We were just in Iowa.
Wow. Illinois. We were in Iowa. Were we?
I don't know. I don't know the Midwest. I don't know the map. I have no geography.
We just crossed the Mississippi and then we came back across because that's another part of the story, right?
Okay.
The ending of that trip.
Well, we need to start at the beginning though, because I know nothing and I'm being like a proud wifey. I need to know all this stuff. So yes, Casey said keys jingling and doors opening and closing.
I heard them and they had absolutely no effect on me. So I
think I have more PTSD, I swear to God, and I never lived in it, and that's embarrassing. Because on the way there...
It's not embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing, but like, you dealt with trauma. I did not. But on the way there...
Your experience was equally as traumatic.
It was not equally.
Yes,
I'm gonna debunk that one. You had to live in that 24/7. I went once a month for 10 years.
And listen, going in and coming out, what you were put through many times... what you were subjected to just to come see me.
I don't know, you guys, weigh in, because here's my thing, and maybe this is me making it better for myself in my head, but like, I chose to do that. You couldn't leave. You know what I mean? And yes, you put yourself there and everyone could have that view, but like, I had a choice to come see you or to not. So you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Just because you chose to subject yourself to it does not make it any less traumatic if that's the effect that it had.
True, thank you, yeah. But anyway, on the way there, it was scary foggy. Now, we live in Las Vegas from the East Coast, so like there is no fog there. There's no humidity, which by the way, minus my hair being a little frizzy, I am loving. And I'll tell you guys why in a second. People who live in it are like, she's like officially lost her mind at this point. But it was so foggy, and I was like, do you think there's gonna be a fog count? Are you gonna be able to get in? Like, and then I was like, oh wait, you're not. Like, he got processed like a visitor, which is cool, but duh, you're not a visitor. Like, you're not visiting an inmate. But let's start there. So we get to how was it being processed into prison, not being booked into prison?
Well, let me say it was a little bit different experience because the individual who set this up invited me to come speak today. It was actually his last day. He is retiring as an associate warden from Thompson, and he's someone I've known for many years because he was a staff member at FCI McKean when I got there. So this is a long-standing relationship. He was someone who, over time, bought into what we were doing and chose to support us, chose to get behind it, help to build this incredible community that transformed my life, that I know impacted countless others.
Just sent $50 and said, I miss you guys. Oh my God, we miss you too.
So it was, man, absolutely, like, to have him first extend the invitation for me to come out here, have it be on his very last day, because he retired today, like, that was super impactful. Pulled up to the door, Ro dropped me off, had to get a verbal commitment from him that he would make sure to get me out of the prison as well.
Him and the other woman, I was like, so he can come out the front door, right? Like, you're gonna let him out the front door? And at first, I don't think people understand my sense of humor at first because I have a Jersey accent. I sound serious all the time, but I'm the most grammatical, sarcastic person. So he was like, yeah, I mean, like, we're not gonna, what did he say? He was being funny back, but like, do something sly or slick. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. Okay, go ahead.
So I meet him out there in the parking lot. He walks me in. Even before we get through the front door, he and the reentry coordinator I've spoken to both of them about this visit, kind of, what the intention was, got a little bit of the format. So honestly, I woke up this morning like excited about this. And I shared that eventually when I had an opportunity to speak to everyone. I'm like, I was excited to come into prison today. I couldn't wait to get back inside, as crazy as that sounds. So us passing through the front door, nothing but anticipation and excitement. Door opens. Here's another guy. He goes, oh, you remember Farwell, who was actually an officer up in recreation. As you know, I spent a lot of time up there in rec, ran all these fitness classes. He is now the supervisor, the head of that recreation department here. And he has implemented all of the programs that I started at McKean at this facility, and they're absolutely loving it. So to also find out that this guy has become such an advocate and speaks so highly of me, I was like, what? It just completely caught me off guard, but he's standing there when we walk in, so I got an opportunity to shake his hand, say hello, met some other staff. And granted, look, I walk in a Brooks Brothers suit, looking like, part of the executive staff, and that is all by design, all of that, and it's all how I envisioned that it would be. So to me, it was like just stepping into that reality, like, hey, we talked this into existence. We always knew it was going to happen. I walked through that front door, and actually our first stop today, which way are we going here? It says straight, but there is no straight. Is
Oh,
there?
Lord.
Oh, we're good. So our first stop was in the conference room.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody, hold on. How do you have an intersection that is this big and you put a stop sign? Well, most places, highways, they put lights. It's a stop sign. So we are in rural America today. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful. You guys, it's beautiful, especially after living in the desert for so long where everything is, gray and brown and dry. It's gorgeous. Okay, keep going.
It is. It's beautiful here. So anyways, we go into the exec staff conference room. There was a unit manager who was
back. It's still counting down. Sorry, guys, we lost this. I guess what happens when we're in the beautiful country, we lose service every once in a while. Oh, someone said, uh-oh. Okay, I think we'll keep going, but George, if you're watching, can you text me? Or somebody that has my number, can you text me and tell us if we're live still? Okay.
So we're good. We're going to keep going with this story.
Oh, we're back. We're back, Lauren, so we're back. Thank you, guys.
Good deal. All right. So here I am. As someone who's spent over 20 years in the Bureau, right? I never got a chance to be out front, like in the admin offices. Yep, I see it. I'm following these guys. Never got a chance to be out front in the admin offices. So not only am I out front in those offices, I actually am in the executive conference room with all the staff, primary staff, who are responsible for First Step Back implementation, those who are part of programs, and the exec staff who's behind this. Get to sit down at the table, literally at the physical table with all of those stakeholders, and that was something that was...
No, go ahead. I'm sorry making faces, but that's like surreal, right?
Yeah, it's a big part. It's what we always talked about. So I was on the other side of that curtain, so to speak, and got an opportunity to share not only a little bit about my experience, but really the impact that staff had on my life. And my message to that group was, you never know what your words, what your actions, the effect that they are going to have on the every single day. and being in a position of authority, like that's your responsibility. Just like I feel it's not only part of my purpose, but it's my responsibility to be coming into these facilities, to be sharing my story, to be doing everything that I can to advocate for others to get the same opportunities that I received.
Sure, and you say that all the time.
I do, and my message is the same, but I was speaking directly to those individuals who have the ability to do that.
And I think that's the beauty of, you know, your situation, your case, the amount of time you had, but also the fact that you carry yourself in a certain way and you speak a certain way, and you could speak to those people in a manner that they'll hear, but then you can turn around and you can speak to the population in a manner that they'll hear, and you can get that your point across, and you can inspire both staff and residents, and that is an extremely difficult task and a very fine line to walk, and you do it masterfully.
Wow. Well, first, I appreciate the compliment.
You're welcome.
And again, I feel like that's where I can bring or have the greatest impact, is helping to be that bridge. There's not too many people that can be in between, that can work on both sides, helping to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And believe me, it was challenging to try and do that from the inside. It's much more fun to do it from the outside. And there are moments when I'm at the table or I'm speaking, you know, to the visiting room filled with all the residents who came out to hear what I had to say, where it is and they all seemed fairly receptive.
Hang on one sec. It's not. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, it wasn't counting down, but now go ahead.
I was going to say they all seemed fairly receptive to my offer. We'll see how many take me up. I'm hopeful that I'll have more opportunities, not only at this facility, but that it opens the door at other facilities, because from the top down, although I met with the director, there hasn't been, I'm going to say, a willingness to ensure that I get access to go into these facilities to share this message. And ultimately, you know, I'd like to share more specifically some of those things that were most impactful, like programs, curriculum, those things. That's another conversation. My goal today was a very clear and simple message. I focused on 3 takeaways, 3 key points, which is belief, focus, and discipline. You know, I talk about what I had to do to cultivate that belief in myself, utilizing physical challenges to build mental fortitude. And then once I had the belief in myself, I also had to allow others in who believed in me, realizing that I couldn't do it all by myself, and to make myself vulnerable, allow myself to be vulnerable, and to accept that support and others' belief in me. And then staying focused, or getting super clear on what it is that we wanted, even from that position, right? Getting very clear on what we wanted for our future, getting hyper focused on those things so that we weren't distracted by all the negativity, all the other just things that came up along the way that could have very easily like derailed us. Just want to make sure that we're still going.
Yep.
Are we supposed to go right there? Or are we going straight?
It says stay on 88 for 35 miles.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right. So, yeah, my message: belief, focus, and then discipline. You know, doing those difficult things every single day, the daily disciplines that have allowed me to be successful on the inside, and then on the outside, you know, putting fitness and family first and foremost, you know, continuing to do those things even when all the other distractions and everything comes up, you know, putting first things first. Told a number of different stories, things that I knew would resonate with others who were similarly situated. Was an incredible event, you know, both meeting with staff, but I think even more importantly, meeting with all the residents who wanted to come in and hear from me, and having staff there in the audience and being able to support them as well, saying, you know, when you have staff who are going to get behind programs and allow somebody like me to come in, that's a big deal. And to take advantage of those things. I left them with a very clear message. I left there feeling good. Like this is the fulfillment of a commitment that I made, but it's part of my purpose. And really what reinforced that was at the end there was an opportunity for everyone to come up and shake my hand. And I would say pretty much everyone in the room came by, and so I had an opportunity to at least see their face, shake their hand, connect on an individual level, and for me that's important. I'm happy to stay extra time, take the time to do that. It did run a little long as a result, so I didn't get the full tour of the facility. I got like an abbreviated tour, which that was something I was adamant about, right? I wasn't trying to get in and get out.
Why, you've never seen it inside of a prison?
Very funny. I really, I wanted the tour. I wanted
Why,
to
though?
walk around.
I'm curious.
The main reason was I wanted to be seen.
Because your story preceded you?
Well, I know that my story preceded me because there are individuals on the compound who know me personally who were able to share that. I know that there was a flyer put out prior to me going. But more importantly, I knew the message that I was seeking to convey would be even more impactful if I was able to get out there on the compound. Individuals were able to see me, and then when they hear about, hey, this guy came in and this is what he talked about, because not all 1,100 people were there, but for all those who were there, when they talk about it, they'll say, man, I saw that guy. He came out on the compound during lunch and was walking through with staff. Man, he looked like he was a staff member.
Yeah, or a politician.
Yeah, politician, executive staff. We were wondering who he was.
Wait, that was him?
That's a guy who used to be.
He was a lifer?
213 years. What? Oh, that's crazy.
It's interesting you say that because, I think on both ends, I think it's easy. Adam asked me to coach him this morning on the way to the prison, right? And we do that with each other. We're both life coaches, and it helps our relationship so much. But we won't just start coaching without asking, because you need a husband, you need a wife, not a life coach, right? So one of the questions I asked him when I was coaching him was, how do you want to leave the staff feeling after you speak with them? And you said,
inspired.
Right. And then I said, how do you want to leave the residents feeling, the guys inside, when you leave them?
Inspired and hopeful.
So for you to do that, for you to walk around like that, it is so inspirational to see that. And it's if that lifer could do that, or if that lifer's wife can do that, I can do it. If he got through that sentence, if they got through that sentence, what's my excuse? I could do this. And that's a message to pass along to you guys. There are things in life that you're feeling there is no way I'm going to get through this. But then you're inspired by somebody who has been there, has done it, and got through it. And it was maybe more difficult for them because they had a longer sentence, they had more hurdles to climb, whatever it is. Use that as inspiration to fuel you, because I'm sure those guys feel you left them feeling some sort of way. They're feeling inspired. They're going and making the connections that you suggested that they go make.
Well, the key word that I left there with was inspired. There were so many who said that to me. Man, you really inspired me today. And that was the goal. And for the record, I asked her to coach me this morning because she is an incredible coach.
Aww.
And I spoke about that during my presentation.
Did? What did you say?
I talked about how coaching was the key to building the communication that we needed.
It's true, yeah.
To not just have a relationship, because I was I've been with my wife all these years. She joined me, decided to get involved in this, which is kind of crazy, right? When I still had a life sentence, when there was no real serious talk of criminal justice reform, things, it was a very different era, and she bought in and she chose to be a part of this relationship. And how amazing is that? And, for us to have a relationship, I was like, let me clarify something. Like, it's not that she couldn't find somebody else. I was like, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's a former Miss Fitness New Jersey. I was like, she is a serious catch. I was like, just to be clear, so everybody gets that, right? I was like, she could have been with anybody else that she wanted to. But she kept coming up to see me 6.5 hours away. Like, I had to earn that.
Ooh.
With her continuing to choose to invest in this relationship, I had to make a substantial investment. And I kept asking, like, what am I bringing to this?
Wow.
And honestly, I was extremely shallow in my past lives. My past life, and I spoke about this plenty of times previously, like, my relationships weren't built on that. And because of our circumstance, that's what we had to build upon. And that's what allowed us both to build the relationship into what we have now, which is why when challenges come up, like, we know how to deal with them. We've already been through it.
Yeah.
So, and we're there to coach one another. So it's not just about, like, surviving and getting through something. It literally became about us envisioning our ideal future and then learning how to thrive in the face of adversity, to do all the things that we wanted to do. And this is the fulfillment of that. Like,
and not just this life, which is the most important, but where we are today. And I mean, like, figuratively where we are today, but literally you going into prison today after prison. We talked about that for years before you even had a release. I almost said a release date. You didn't really have a release date, but, you know, for years before you got released. And talk about divine design, divine intervention, right? Because this wouldn't have happened had we not already had a trip planned here for a family reunion for Adam on the 4th of July, or it never would have happened. It's not like the BOP was flying out here.
Couldn't get up to pick up expenses this time. This was a paid engagement, which makes it that much more worthwhile, right? Because as we were talking about later, afterwards, with some of our friends, I sacrificed a lot for many years in order to be able to lead that community on the inside. I was under a great deal of scrutiny, which was acknowledged today. Something we've always known. And there were people that were not happy about that. So I had to go above and beyond, like, not only to be completely transparent in everything that I did, but I also felt like there were times where I had to give up any sort of incentive that was offered. I had to be willing to forgo that so as maybe staff would acknowledge that I was doing it solely for the right reasons.
And I have to tell you guys, from my perspective as his wife, I would always, obviously, I knew that Adam knew what was best for him on the inside. So I always deferred to him. I didn't try to talk him in any different direction. But at the time, like, I would always be so taken back for him. Like, you deserve so much more. I hate that you have to swallow that. But you're right. Like, you had to do what you had to do in order to pave the way for yourself, because no one else was paving the way at that point.
Just paving the way for myself and for all of the others.
Yeah.
To make sure that opportunities were available. And listen, there was a financial cost to that.
Sure.
A lot of other sacrifices, and today was a small piece of that back. But more importantly, it was the fulfillment of the vision, right? Like, that's the biggest piece to today, and why I'm feeling such a sense of accomplishment.
Of course.
I'm not good at celebrating my successes, so I'm glad that we're having this conversation right now.
Yeah, because you deserve to. But wait, I want you to say the best part. But we had planned to go live on here, on this channel, for about 10 minutes, and then we were going to switch over and do it on Gritability, because we promised George, that we would go over there, because today's our podcast day. So I think you should tell the best part of the story that you were saving over on the Gritability channel. So why don't you guys, if you guys know it, put it in the comments so people can just click at Gritability, Gritability, and we're going to finish this conversation over there because we promised you, George, and we're good students.
And just for anyone who's wondering, CJ is with us.
Oh, yeah.
He's right back there. The real boss, the star of the show. Always right there with us. He has just taken...
He's been amazing. This whole trip, he's been amazing. We'll tell you guys about that as well.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a rough second flight because we had a layover, but he really was great all trip, all day. Poor guy's like totally off his schedule, but we'll get back there. I want you to say the best part on Gritability. So meet us over there. We'll be back in like 2 minutes. Just let me get myself up on there because I don't think we've ever Oh yeah, no, we live streamed there. We did last week. Okay, sounds good?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll see you guys over there.